Jack Swagger's run as World Heavyweight Champion in 2010 was one of the strangest decisions WWE made that year, and probably all time, and it's often regarded as a low point in the title's history. Swagger's sudden title win felt like he came out of nowhere, and his reign didn't exactly do anything to change that perception. From lackluster rivalries to being punked out at every opportunity, Swagger's reign was garbage. First, let's rewind to how Swagger even ended up as WWE Champion. Before this title reign, Swagger's career had been decent, but far from World Champion level. I mean, he debuted on ECW, and he found some early success, quickly established himself on the pretty horrible brand by beating everyone, especially Tommy Dreamer. I swear, I saw like 20 different videos of Swagger beating this dude. And just after a few months of being on ECW, he would capture the ECW title by beating Matt Hardy. And as ECW champ, Swagger would lose. Like, reading these results while researching this vid generally had me amazed. Like, they had this man win the title, then legit lose his first 3 matches as a champion. They weren't defenses, but still, bro. That's like if Cena won the WWE title, then lost 3 straight normal matches on Raw. Like what? Swagger would actually successfully defend the title a few more times, but lost it to Christian at Backlash just a few months later, as Christian had literally just jumped ship from TNA. Following losing his title, then his next 3 shots at the title, Jack would end up on Monday Night Raw, where he ended up chilling and wrestling in the mid-card, feuding for the US title, qualifying for the Raw Bragging Rights team, and basically not doing much, until the build to WrestleMania 26. Swagger would defeat Santino, of all people, to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match, alongside people like Christian, Shelton Benjamin, Drew McIntyre, Kane, Kofi, and a lot of decent names from 2010. Like, at least half of these guys should have benefited from this win, but instead, Swagger legit shocked the world by becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. On the next night of Raw, during a segment where John Cena and Batista were talking, John asked Batista if he wanted to run back the WrestleMania match, since it was just the night before. Next thing you know, Jack Swagger pulls up and attacks Cena, and it kinda looked like Jack was gonna cash in, until John Cena activated his Super Cena Park card and turned it all the way around, further proving how much of a punk Swagger was. And at the time, since Swagger was so green and needed to develop when it came to promo, wrestling, and pretty much everything, fans watching assumed WWE would wait forever for Jack to cash in, as it would have gave him time to get better and develop. But nope, on the very next episode of SmackDown, Swagger would cash in and beat Chris Jericho for the World Heavyweight title. And that's pretty much the beginning of the end when it comes to Swagger's career in WWE. Don't get me wrong, Swagger was pushed hard as champ and even had a match with The Undertaker on Monday Night Raw, but he just wasn't good and brought literally nothing to the table, as the main problem with Jack was that he would talk a big game but just didn't do anything. His first major feud as champ was against Randy Orton, a legend, a future Hall of Famer, and someone who was still a massive star at this time, and someone who should have definitely held the world title over Jack. Their match at Extreme Rules didn't do much to help Swagger's image, and while he managed to retain the title, the lack of chemistry between the two was obvious. The rivalry itself felt forced, and Swagger's inability to keep up with Orton, both in promos and in ring, made the feud feel like filler rather than something that could elevate him as a champion. Next up was a brief feud with The Big Show, which, like the feud prior, ended up doing more harm than good. This whole setup was supposed to make Swagger look like a legit heel and someone who could overcome the odds and be entertaining, but it did nothing but expose him. I mean, dude looks so funny speaking to a completely silent crowd alongside his lisp. I mean, there was even a segment where Jack was showing off all of his accomplishments. I'm talking old wrestling medals, old pictures, scramble championships, stuff that's supposed to mean something to Jack. So tell me why, when The Big Show comes out, this dude Jack just watches The Big Show destroy everything for legit 2 minutes. Just him watching and screaming. Like, even if it's just running in the ring, then getting attacked after, like, do something. Not to mention the match at Over the Limit ended in disqualification on a pay-per-view for the world title, and was only 5 minutes. Like, imagine something like that happening today. At this point, I'm pretty sure WWE were starting to realize that they may have pushed Swagger just a little too hard, because soon after Over the Limit, they threw Swagger in a multi-man feud with CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, and The Big Show, leading to a fatal 4-way match. And this could have been Swagger's chance to show he could hang with the big boys, but instead, they had him drop the title to Rey. I mean, bro didn't even hold the title for 3 months. Not even 3 months, bro. After losing, Swagger would get a feud and mini rivalry with new champ, Rey Mysterio. And let me just say, these two had some decent chemistry. That no DQ match on SmackDown, where Swagger got dumped into the Gulf of Mexico, is still etched into my brain. And at Money in the Bank, after a decent match, Jack would lose to Rey. Then Kane would cash in Money in the Bank, further progressing his storyline with The Undertaker, who later returned the next month. And just like that, Jack was yesterday's news. He wasn't even on SummerSlam that next month. I think ultimately, Swagger's horrible reign chalks up to just bad timing. I mean, WWE's main event scene in 2010 was stacked. You had Edge, Jericho, Mysterio, Cena, and Orton, plus people like Punk, Kane, and Undertaker headlining every single week. And with all these heavy hitters around, nobody was believing or buying Jack Swagger as a legit world champion.